So you're actually watching this happen in real time as a bunch of whistleblowers are coming forward, as the statements, testimonies have already been taken, and as right now the Department of Justice has a lot of information, a lot of evidence with national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, that exposed the pandemic, the operations. Now you see everything's coming together slowly. Everything's going to keep on coming together slowly. And that's why I keep telling you that it was collision course. Trump is painting you a picture. White hats are painting you a picture of how all of these different operations are going to come together and how Trump is being blackmailed. He's not really being blackmailed, but those were intentional traps that's connected over to this guy that's Lutnick, who's running the United States Secretary of Commerce. These operations connected to Israel operations. The same thing behind the scenes. There's a huge connection from Susie Weil, who works for Trump. Susie Weil, who helped Trump get elected. She was also working with Netanyahu. She's also working behind the scenes with Pfizer. Her and Pam Bondi together, they're running one of the biggest consultation firms. Now it got even bigger, and the biggest client in the world, Pfizer, they're working with Pfizer, because this is all going to set up to the future as the Department of Justice inside the United States, one of the biggest, attorney generals that runs all the attorney generals, that's connected to the full judicial system. She's going to be implicated later on into this corruption with Pfizer. Then she'll have all the evidence to pull everything forward. All of these are military operations, even though it seems like Pam Bondi, is that she's representing Pfizer with Susie Weil over from, she's always in Israel. She has a place that she always goes there. She ran Netanyahu for re-election in 2020. Trump intentionally sent Susie Weil to help Netanyahu. So all of these operations are actually military operations, sting operations, collecting the data, who's implicated, who's involved, how all of this pandemic came together. And someone from the Department of Justice is directly involved in all of this stuff, because her testimony in the future, her evidence, everything that she has saved is very important. So it was infiltration that was intentionally created by the military. That's actually Trump. And Trump actually pushed a lot of these operations for Susie Weil to help Netanyahu, to help represent Pfizer. You're seeing these huge, gigantic operations that's going to connect to the exposure of the pandemic. As you see scientists coming forward, there's already investigations going on with the pandemic, scientists, social media involved. Now you have the exposure of the coup with mainstream media involved. You're seeing this beautiful painting evolve.
Jeffrey Epstein knew a tremendous amount about my work when nobody knew anything about my work. And he had a pipeline into me that I didn't understand, which is that he was connected to my graduate program. And you can check out the conference called Exploring Gravity.
Was it a gravity conference?
Yeah.
It was about gravity?
Yeah.
What the fuck was he doing talking about bloody gravity? He's a financier.
It was very important to get Nobel laureates and some of the smartest people on Earth to come to the Virgin Islands and talk about gravity. Stephen Hawking was there, David Gross was there, Lawrence Krauss was there, Lisa Randall was there, right before his conviction. And I'm telling you, he was very focused on the Harvard math department. And he knew all about me in ways that he wasn't supposed to.
Now I want to go off subject. I want to talk about something that people constantly ask me about. Is the Earth flat or is the Earth a globe? And I've never answered that question intentionally. I have never answered that question, because the real facts are more astounding than that, what the real facts are. The real truth is, it's both. Both concepts are real, but at the same time, those concepts are completely, it doesn't really exist, that concept of the flat Earth or the global Earth. Those are also absolutely not real. The reason why It has to do with different dimensions. It has to do with different timelines. At the same time, it's not really important inside the spiritual aspect. The reason why it's not important is because the living earth, it's actually living. It's a living spirit. It's a living being. The way it creates heat, the way it creates water, the plasma energy, all of these different substances, energy, quantum fields of energy that exists inside the earth, that creates the earth of where we eat food, we drink water, we breathe air, that we live on, that we walk on. This living earth that exists inside is that plasma energy. Inside of that plasma living energy that was created from the great nothing, what people call the invisible darkness, that light that came, that light of plasma inside the earth, and then it created a structure of black rock around it. That structure of black rock that's deep down underneath the earth, that connects with the plasma fire, that connects with the water, and then it connects with air. It creates a powerful vibration that exists on earth. So in a way, when we talk about Stargate, we're talking about these black rocks. Why Trump wants to mine these smaller black rocks underneath the ocean that create electricity. We're talking about the big, massive black rocks underneath the earth that create wormholes. Those frequencies are already affecting you because as a human being, your DNA systems, your mind, it's connected to a spiritual energy of how you live. If you want to be spiritual, and if not, if you're just an atheist, there are different forms of atheists. Some believe only in their inner God, that they're God. Then there's others who don't believe in no God. But it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a killer, if you're this spiritual person, if you're this person inside the military, inside the government, it doesn't matter when you're talking about flat earth or you're talking about a global earth that's moving. The reason why I say it's not important is because this living earth, the vibrations, the way it's created, those sacred frequencies that's connected to the frequency of the body, the DNA, the power of the mind that can dream, the power of the mind that can create civilizations, create dreams, are at the highest levels of masters, Buddha, Jesus, masters that you never heard of, that can come out of their body, that can go into different dimensions, different timelines, different places around the whole universe to help the knowledge there. This powerful spiritual energy that we are, it communicates with the powerful spiritual energy of the earth. Those powerful frequencies working together, that's what creates your reality. You don't understand it really, but the power of earth, the power of all these living spirits, from the living spirit of water to air, these are sentient beings. These are spirits. These are created by the image of a Holy Spirit that created the earth, created that energy that we use for many things. Now, all of these energy combined that we keep talking about, advanced technology, we're talking about wormholes, this black rock, these frequencies, that energy is intertwining with the human body. So on earth, everybody experiences life differently. It depends on if you're spiritual. It depends on if you believe in UFOs, UAPs. If you don't believe in it, then say 99.9999% of people will never see an UFO. If you're not a spiritual being and you're not invested to that, throughout your whole life, you'll never experience spiritual, a real spiritual development. You're not going to see those miraculous spiritual miracles, You're not going to experience that. There's a lot of stuff you can never experience because it's the way you see the world. It's the world that's being created by your own subconscious mind. So you have to take control of your own consciousness. That's what the Great Awakening is really about. The operations that will be guided into the future of why Trump is really stabilizing the world. 80% of the world is trying to wake up, whether they believe in a religion, whether they believe that the government can save them, they believe in politics, they believe in a Great Awakening, they believe that an exposure is happening through their cover. There's a consciousness that's growing through the world really, really rapidly, and it's rising, that consciousness. As that consciousness rises, and then a lot of miracles can come into our reality, because your consciousness is what's really creating your reality. A lot of people don't understand that. So as a human being with your spiritual frequency energies, the electrical frequencies that travel through the mind, through the brain, through the spiritual energy, through the spiritual power that lives inside of you, that's actually connected to the earth's frequencies, and it creates a reality that you're seeing. It creates what you experience in this world, and it works with your thoughts. So if you choose to be a cruel human, you choose to live in an evil way, it'll reflect that. If you want to start to awaken, you start to cry, you want peace, you want the love of God in your life, it'll start to come through miracles, through humans, through different events that starts to change your life. So that's why I never talk about the flat earth, about the global earth, because it's actually part of the construct of the mind, the spiritual construct, the way you view the world, the way you view society, the way you feel spiritual revelation, spiritual experiences. The real truth is everything exists in every different dimensions. A lot of people on earth jump timelines every night when you go to sleep. You're jumping into different timelines. You're experiencing different dimensions. One time I met a master, and this master had told me, he goes, how do you know what I see? Just because I say there's a mountain right there, how do you know it's a mountain? Maybe I see a tree that's so gigantic, that's what I call a mountain. How do you know the color red that I see? It's a color blue. But in my aura, in my reality, the color red is blue. Just because we're talking doesn't mean we have real communication of what each other sees. Maybe the human you see, I just see a white light. Why is it that just because we name something, it doesn't mean that we're seeing the same thing? It could just be all an illusion. The things that we are seeing, the things that we are experiencing together, they're actually different. The way our mind processes it, the way we see it spiritually, the way we see it physically. So anyways, this was probably just more of a confusing video for some people. You get to learn some stuff about the geopolitics, what's happening behind the scenes, and then a little bit insight into a different idea of how I view the world. If I had told my father, Dad, is the world round or is it flat? My dad would have laughed. He said, what's important is go get some water from the well and feed the horses. That's important right now. Because he's actually telling you the vibrations, getting that water, exercise, work, use your hands, use your body. You only have one life to live. In this moment, you have one life to live. Get the water, enjoy it. Learn to feel the air. Learn to see the beauty. Those vibrations make it stronger. Let it vibrate inside of you so strong. One day you can become the water. One day you can become the land. You can become the air. So my father, in a way, he was giving you a hint. What's important right now is go get the water. Go feed the animals. But secretly, he was saying, one day you'll understand the beauty of meditation all the time. Pure meditation. Taking care of your body, what you say, what you do, the way you think, what you hear, what goes in. You know, all of your sacred senses, you have to tune it. You just can't say bad words because you're cursing yourself, because you think everything is real. Thou doesn't know itself. You know, that's why I say, know thyself. When you know thyself, then you know you're dreaming. You know you're connected to God. You're connected to this whole process that everything is a living dream, a divine energy created by God. If you think bad stuff, then the mind is separated into dualities. Them and me. You know, there's there and there's here. And everything is divided into a huge, gigantic system of duality. To become spiritual, to become one, to understand you're sacred, that you're dreaming. That's the whole project behind the military operations at the highest level, to give the real consciousness of humans back to themselves so they don't have to suffer through wars, through kidnappings, through pedo operation rings, through all of this dark, sinister stuff of a dark system. Behind the scenes, the real operations are magnificent of the military, because you're still going to experience a lot of stuff now. You're going to experience miraculous things that's going to happen on earth. You're going to experience miracles that's going to happen on earth. Right now, you're just watching all of these little battles, these little exposure projects, disclosure projects that's leading to super advanced technology. So don't be afraid of the AI systems. You know, God is in control of everything, and God gave you a life to experience it. And sometimes that life is really scary, but it's an adventure. You know, a lot of people, before they were born, they asked to come into this life.
Earth is not flat, it is not round, it is a living, conscious, multi-dimensional being existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously.